Back to tonight on UTV. Now, Jamie Delargate takes an in-depth look at the state of the housing market in Northern Ireland on tonight's Insight.
House prices here soared by 37% last year. Sell your house in Belfast and move to London. Property's less expensive there. House prices here rose more than anywhere else in Europe over the past year.
Well, I think we clearly had an unprecedented price boom, driven largely by investors. In fact, someone might describe it as Northern Ireland's own Californian gold rush for a period of time.
They sprout like weeds in the summer sun, clusters of sailboards, adverts for a stagnant falling prices. This is the downturn that many thought could never happen. In its wake, regrets among those who bought at the top of the market. But the biggest losers are likely to be developers who overpaid for land.
When people borrow money, they're not in control of the destiny of the market. And I hope not, but I fear there will be a few casualties, and regrettably that is the property market.
Jim, when was this vehicle last on the road?
December last year.
You've something like 6 vehicles here.
6 of them, yeah.
How many would you currently need given the level of business you're doing?
2.
2?
2's plenty. Yeah.
What has just happened to the trade?
The trade has died off since September last year. We noticed a fall off. Things got very quiet and it's just gone downhill from there.
And do you see any prospect at the moment of it picking up?
Well, everybody you talk to, it's all doom and gloom. Nobody seems to have any great cheerful outlook about it. So it's difficult to know, really. Housing estate agents are having a hard time selling property. People don't move, we don't move.
In the course of this programme, you will hear it implied that the downturn in the housing market was unforeseen, that the change in direction could not have been anticipated. We challenged that argument. This time last year, Insight suggested that house prices were poised to tumble.
I think it would be unwise not to consider the very real possibility that a crash could occur and could have quite devastating effects.
We questioned what we regarded as overly rosy forecasts.
Looking forward from today, I would see that this year the average will comfortably be in the region of 15% for the 12 months ahead. Looking beyond that, I see that there is still onward demand for houses in both the private sector and the investment sector.
At the very least, our analysis would have suggested extreme caution, yet little was evident in the heady atmosphere of 2007. In Fermanagh, Stephen McAloon is grateful for demand for holiday homes. He sold half a dozen apartments in just 3 weeks at his upmarket development outside Enniskillen.
Hey Steve.
Alan, how are you?
Good to see you.
All right.
How's things moving?
Too bad. Not too bad. We're 6 gone there from the launch, so we're happy enough with that.
That's great. That's great. I must say, talking to people coming in and out, the reaction to the place has been absolutely fantastic.
But success here is in contrast to his experience over in Lisnaskea. Stephen, tell me the story about these houses here. I mean, who bought them and what happened really to them?
Well, a lot of the site here, we have like 40 houses, and a lot of, maybe 80% of these were bought by investors, which most of them completed and maybe turned over again.
Well, what happened to these 3 here?
Well, these 3 again were bought by investors and paid their 10% deposit off. They bought them off the plan about February 2007. They were completed about November, and at that stage then, that was the start of the falling of them and fall back on them. So they lost their 10% deposit and walked away from them. Just
How much did they lose individually?
they were sold at 185, so they were losing 18,500 per house.
Why did they think it worth their while to walk away from almost £20,000 each?
Well, probably with the drop in price, they were going to lose more if they had completed the sale.
Up above the road, Stephen intended to create a mixture of houses and apartments, but lack of interest among buyers has meant the plan's been put on hold. He's now had to reduce his workforce.
We have laid a lot of the boys off, and we're working fairly on a fairly skeleton staff. We just letting the market settle down a wee bit and let them see. I'll get probably back working again in the next couple of months at them, you know.
How much have you reduced your workforce by?
I'd say we're down to half what we used to have, you know.
How many people is that?
Well, from 40, I'd say we're down to about 15 or so now over the last couple of years, you know.
Other sites in Lisnaskea face similar problems. When we filmed at Beechwood, 17 homes were up, but just one was sold. Over at Derrygree, 16 houses lay empty. It's a similar story on many building sites across Northern Ireland. The upshot is a drastic fall in the number of houses being built in the 12 months beginning last October.
Well, from the figures we have available to us and knowing how that fits into the overall market, I would estimate probably there'd be something in the order of 4,300 houses less built in that period than there were in the same period last year. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less.
Rory Manhattan handles a broad range of jobs. Here in Lisburn, his firm is fixing up business premises in the city centre. But the company also does work for the house building industry, and that trade is suffering badly.
I think every company within Northern Ireland, or every company that's involved in the construction industry within Northern Ireland, is experiencing a downturn on new build properties. Speaking for ourselves, we would be currently showing a 30 to 60% decrease in the new builds that we're doing.
Do you expect that to continue?
I would expect that to continue probably over the next 12 months.
In Belfast, this construction industry worker has had to switch to driving a bus and suffer a major cut in pay.
There was a crawler crane operator for the construction trade down in Bangor, but unfortunately the contract finished on that in January, so there hasn't been any further jobs coming up in the Belfast area for myself to take, so unfortunately I have to take what I can get.